The Renaissance, Part 4, Isaac Newton. Professor Michael Botwin, Department of Psychology, California State University, Fresno. Isaac Newton viewed the universe as a lawful machine created by God. Newton was an extremely religious man, and he believed that God created the universe and set it in motion. However, then he believed God has sat back and watched what was happening and did not intercede in the world. He also is primarily known for Newtonian physics and the law of gravity. He was a reserved man, never married, kind of kept to himself, but if you're going to be an introvert and keep to yourself, and you're Sir Isaac Newton, you're probably in pretty good company. So let's look at Newton's rules for scientific reasoning. First, we're to admit no more natural causes, such as are true and sufficient to explain their appearance. In other words, don't embellish your theory with extra facts or extra information. Newton talks about cause and effect. The same natural effects must be assigned to the same causes, and vice versa. If something naturally causes something else to happen, it will always do so. Qualities, and he's primarily talking about Galileo's primary qualities there, of bodies are universal. We can understand them. And then we get into Newton's building a theory of how to do science. He says propositions deduced from observations of phenomena should be viewed as accurate until phenomena contradict them. I talk to my students about this all the time. Nature doesn't change. Our understanding of nature changes, and we are getting better at approximating nature. But it's our theories that get better at explaining nature. Nature doesn't change to fit our theories. Here's one of Newton's ideas, the prism. You put white light into a prism, it comes out as a rainbow. You set a second prism there, and the rainbow spectrum of light. Let's take a look at Newtonian science and his ideas about how science works. First of all, God does not play an active role in the universe, does not actively intervene in the world either. He adopted a view very similar to Plato, except his unmoved mover is God. God created everything, started the universe rolling, and is just sitting back and watching the show. The real world is governed by natural laws. No exceptions. I would love to get special dispensation to be able to fly without any assistance. Never gonna happen. The real world is governed by natural laws. No matter how much we would like to violate some of those natural laws, we can't do that. Now, Newton also says there's no place for purpose in natural law. And by purpose, he means assigning some kind of causality that really isn't there. Like there was an earthquake because the people there were bad. Or there was a drought because the people didn't believe in God enough. So there's no place for purpose like that. Cause and effect, yeah. That other kind of purpose, definitely not. He liked simple explanations. and suggested that Occam's razor be used liberally. Get rid of all the extraneous stuff and just get at the facts. In your research methods class, you most likely spent a lot of time talking about how you design a study and how you get rid of all the extraneous variables. In social psychology, in the last few years, there has been a major replication crisis. And many classic social psychology studies are not working. As people attempt to figure out just what the heck's going on, they're finding oftentimes there are extremely small things that are interfering and significantly changing the results, including things like time of day you collect the data, stuff like that. So, use Occam's razor, do simple stuff. Natural laws are absolute. Scientific theories about them are not. This is one I always stress to the students that work with me in my lab. Our theories are going to get better over time about things. Nature's not going to change to suit our theories. Whenever I see someone doing science by trying to make nature fit their pet theory, I just grimace. I find it very, very, very unscientific. I got a good object lesson in this when I was a graduate student. I was working with the late great Jack Atkinson, who was the individual who operationalized and studied achievement motivation. Now, motivation wasn't one of my main areas of interest in grad school, but by working with him and being his teaching assistant, I spent a considerable amount of time learning about achievement motivation. And I read something in one of Jack's books, and then later I read something that contradicted it. And being young and stupid, I asked Atkinson about that, and Jack simply said, "We didn't know what we were talking about then." He was an extremely wise man. And I think that happens a lot in science. We look at things and we don't know what we're talking about, but we come up with our best shot. And science is a constantly changing affair. We're constantly refining things. So hopefully we're getting better and better at figuring out the natural world. Our final point on Newtonian science: classification is not explanation. Just because you can classify events, you can put them into order, it doesn't explain why they are the way they are. There are two big competing theories of personality with trait models. One is by Hans Eysenck. He has theoretical links to all three of his traits back to biology. The other is probably the most commonly used trait model right now, the Big Five. The Big Five was derived through a taxonomic approach. So we don't know why these 5 traits came out. They could have been 5 other traits, but there's no explanatory power there. They just are. I want to end by giving you a just for fun thing, and I'm noticing I forgot to put my little just for fun tag on there. If you follow the link on the slide in the PowerPoint show in Canvas, it'll take you to a rap battle between Bill Nye the Science Guy, played by Bill Nye the Science Guy, and Sir Isaac Newton, played by one of my favorite philosophers, Weird Al Yankovic. And there is another actor in there playing Neil deGrasse Tyson. And as the commentary in the YouTube video goes, if Neil deGrasse Tyson knew they were making the rap battle video, he would have done it himself, and I think that would have made it even more funnier than it is now. Not required looking, but after listening to all this science-y dry stuff, nice to have a little bit of fun. And it's kind of cute. It may not be up to Weird Al's favorites, but it's pretty good. And our next individual that we're going to look at is René Descartes. And he's going to bring a discussion of dualism into the forefront of philosophy. So we'll see you next time on the history of psychology. Bye now. This has been a We Have Couches video production. Copyright 2020. Professor Michael Botwin. All rights reserved.